Is nudity getting out of control in gachas? I mean, yeah, I'm not complaining, but we're going to talk about it. Look, nudity in gachas is awesome. Like, let's be real, right? Plain and simple, let's be real. Nudity in gachas, it's absolutely awesome. It's the best thing ever. You know, it's probably one of the main reasons I play most of these gachas, because I definitely don't play them to waste money on losing multiple 50-50s in a row, you know. I definitely don't play gachas for that reason, but they're just tied to the anime trope, you know. A lot of these games that are gacha related are anime related, you know. We all love our anime waifus, and games like Girls Frontline 2, Brown Dust 2 really hit it out of the park when it comes to nudity. That's not stupidly excessive to the point where it's detrimental to everything else in the game, you know. And what I mean by that is, like, they're still good games at the core, you know. It's just not too heavily leaning into nudity to the you know, detriment of the other aspects of the game, you know. And a good example of this is a game called Horizon Walker. Horizon Walker finally crosses that line that all the other games, you know, don't want to cross because they're going to get hit hard in the Google Play Store or something. But Horizon Walker has actual nipples. That's right, fully blown nipples. They're not hiding anything, and there's a lot of sexual content in that game. But everything else is complete dog water, and that's me being nice. You know, it's great to see a gacha game that's actually finally really crossed that territory if it's not AI slop. Because, you know, I'm sure a few of you have seen, like, the darker side of the web where you got the H games and Error Labs and all that, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. All those games are just AI slop and absolute disgusting embarrassments of anything. They truly are. But Horizon Walker is the first to kind of like take a step forward, you know, away from that direction and actually give some good nudity. But it's just unfortunate that there's no real decent plot, you know. I can't believe I'm saying that, but there's no real story, there's no real soundtrack that's exciting, there's nothing, you know. It's just really good looking waifus, you know, and unfortunately it's not enough to carry the game, you know, which is why I don't smash Horizon Walker. I don't play the absolute shit out of it because I'm not excited to, you know. I need more than just a naked anime waifu. Like, there's got to be at least something else to draw me into the game, you know. Otherwise, you know, you're just gonna last 30 seconds. Like, come on, let's be real, you know. And that's where I think Brown Dust 2 does it really well. Brown Dust 2 balances it really well, you know. Look, I don't think it's ever going to be full-blown nudity, but they really venture into that dark side, and they've got the story, the soundtrack, and everything else, well fleshed out characters to back it up. Same thing with Girls Frontline. Girls Frontline does that really well as well. Plain and simple, you know. Girls Frontline 2 has a good story, has good characters, really well fleshed out characters, might I add. You know, it's got some decent soundtracks. I'm not super keen on the soundtracks, you know. Nikkei still has some of the best soundtracks. And then you've kind of got a game as well that's kind of like trying to teeter onto the verge of like overly abrupt nudity and nudity and that's Snowbreak. And Snowbreak is dog shit, plain and simple. Even worse, Snowbreak basically said F you to a content creator who was really putting in a lot of work on guides and community wikis and that, and basically told him to get effed. It was really sad to see his story, you know. So that's why I don't trust Snowbreak, and I don't really play Snowbreak anymore. I pretty much uninstalled it. You know, I haven't logged into that game in like 6 months, even more. You know, shame, but same thing. That game tried to push into the lewd side of things, but just failed because it's got nothing else to back it up. You know, you can have lewd waifus, but you just can't have that and that's it. You know, the game still needs to be built on a decent foundation, and if that foundation is dog shit, it's not gonna last long, you know. And that's why we see this era of like pump and dump gachas, you know. It's almost like literally crypto scams, you know. It's like, hey, we're gonna pay, you know, these big US content creators to shield the game for a day, and then poof, you know, we'll quickly try make back our revenue, you know, and our expenditure during the first like month of the game's release, and then we're done, you know. We just literally keep the game in maintenance mode, you know, maybe pop out an event here and there that doesn't cost too much, you know, a new character. Maybe we'll pay the content creators to come back if the game's still lasting a little bit, but look at them. Look at all those gachas that come out. They just literally, your favorite content creator says it's the best thing ever, plays it for a day, never touches it again, and then the game end of services in like less than a year. Because it's just, they're shit games. They rely on the anime waifu aspect of things, and these companies do not give a single fuck about the players. They're just literally there to pump out an anime waifu gacha, get you to spend your money, and then you're gone. The content creators don't care as well. That's why you see more and more content creators desperately taking any sponsorship they can. And believe me, I've been offered sponsorship money as well. I've been offered, you know, look, I'm not a big content creator. You know, I'm not even a small content creator. I'm a minuscule content creator. But, I mean, some of the money is pretty crazy. Like, I think, what was it? Let's just say a certain upcoming bike gacha. I can't really say too much, but they basically paid me almost like $500 just to do like nothing on that game. You know? That's a lot of money, you know, any way you look at it, you know, just for me to literally put in like 5 minutes worth of work. Like, that's a really good ratio. I mean, even when I was like doing consulting, you know, my going rate was like a couple of grand for a session, and that pales in comparison to these gacha companies that are forking out thousands of dollars, you know, just for a video. It's crazy. It just goes to show how crazy the world is out there. And I don't know, I guess I just wanted to have a little bit of a chat about nudity and gachas, because there's some really cool stuff, but there's some really bad stuff as well. So you kind of got to really keep your eyes open, you know, and try not fall for the bullshit. Don't fall for the pump and dump gachas. Be very sparse with your spending on these gacha games, because I feel like we're going to see more and more of them, you know. And even then, you know, games like Nikkei and Girls Frontline 2, you know, they're always going to push the boundaries of what they can milk out of the players as well. You know, they're always going to release something new to take all your money, you know, whether it's a $60 gachapon skin or, you know, Girls Frontline doing, you know, a couple of $100 worth of gachapon. But in fairness, Girls Frontlines ain't that bad, you know, they gave you a lot of free pulls. Nikkei's is still the worst in my opinion. Like, you don't get any free gachapon tickets. They give you 2, but here's the kicker, right? The gachapon doesn't actually reward you. The 2 tickets you get for free actually don't give you any chance to get the gachapon skin. That's so fucking dumb. Like, fuck you, Nikkei. Fucking shift up such a scummy company. All the money they make just purely from shafting people and manipulating gacha rates. And on that disappointment, we're gonna end it there, because honestly, you guys suck, shift up. It's your boy Gacha Burgers, over and out. Peace.